How's it going? It's Ron Abiera with Abiera Team Real Estate. And in this week's email, I'll be going over a blog that talks about the importance of pricing your home in today's market. So if you have any thoughts about putting your home on the market now or in the near future, or may know somebody that will be, hopefully you'll find some value out of this. I'm going to go over 3 tips that I give to my sellers when pricing their home and setting them up for success to sell their home. So number 1 is understand the data. So in a hot seller's market, here was a strategy. You find out what just recently closed, you can price your home 10% more. And the crazy thing is you get a buyer for it. In some cases, multiple offers, and you may get more than what you're asking for. That's the market that we just left. Dang, I should have sold my home. Anyway, we still have to look at what has recently closed, but you got to pay a little bit more closer attention to it. So if we look at homes that just recently closed, we need to know exactly when they closed. So homes that closed, let's say early July, those are indicative of the market 30, 60, 90 days before. So those homes went contingent way back when the market was hot, right? So if you're gonna look at recently closed sales, you have to look at hopefully things that closed within the last couple weeks to make sure that they're in line of where the market is now. More importantly, I like to focus on contingent sales. So these are homes that accepted an offer but have not closed yet. That's going to give us an indication of where the market's headed to help you price your home. So, but you still have to look at how long they had been on the market before they went contingent. As an example, if we see a couple homes that went contingent, that accepted an offer, and they were on the market for less than a week, then it's pretty safe to say that that closing is probably going to be at the asking price or more. Conversely, if we see a home that went contingent, but it had been on the market, let's say 3 months, then there's a pretty good chance that that home's actually going to sell for less than what they were asking for. So you got to really pay attention to these contingent, or they're called pending sales, depending on which market you're in, to know sort of where the market's going. So I'm going to share a couple screenshots of the 2 markets that I'm in, so you guys will have a better idea. So it's a little bit of a behind the scenes look at the MLS, so you can see what I see and how I can help guide you guys through pricing your home. So just disclosure, this is a particular neighborhood in Irvine, so it's not indicative of what's happening in the city or in the county. It's really just a snapshot. So I'm pretty much cherry picking this for an example, but it is a specific community in Irvine. So if you look at the screenshot here, these are all the available homes. So these are homes that are on the market that have not accepted an offer. So I don't know, there's probably 20 of these homes. And I would have to say about 50% of them have a red arrow. So these red arrows mean that there was a price adjustment, or in this case, a price decrease over the life of that home on the market. So when I see something like this, half of the homes that are available in this community are lowering their price. It could mean one of 2 things. One is that the appreciation has stopped. Appreciation is going the opposite direction. And or number 2, that the values are dropping. Now, I just want to be very clear, those are 2 different things. They don't mean the same. So you're gonna have to look a little deeper. In this particular community, it's actually Orchard Hills, single family homes here in Irvine, I wouldn't say that this means that values are dropping. It definitely means more that there's no more appreciation happening in this particular community based upon what people are asking for their homes. So that's just a quick snapshot of what's happening in a place like Irvine, one of the markets I work in. Let me show you another screenshot of the Las Vegas MLS, also where I work. So in this MLS, they don't have the arrows showing any price changes. I can filter that out to figure that out. But what I will point out here is we have to look at the days on market, because this will give us an idea of what's happening. Again, this is a very specific zip codes, actually the Vistas and the Paseos in Summerlin. And what I'll pay attention to is the days on market. So I've highlighted them here. So we've left a very hot seller's market. Homes are selling in a matter of days or weeks. Now we're shifting towards homes that are on the market for 3 months or more. What I've highlighted here is if you're looking at this from a buyer's perspective and you see homes that are been on the market in triple digits over 100 days, that lets us know, hey, things are definitely slowing down, but you got to look a little deeper. So as an example of the ones that I highlighted here, this one here on Hedgemont, on the market for over 100 days, they had reduced their price $50,000, relative to their base price or to the asking price. It's about 6-7% of a reduction over time. So it's pretty significant. And then this Brigola here, they started off at $899. So they had a $100,000 price adjustment, which, let me check my math here, was about 13%. That's kind of significant to have a 13% reduction in your price. So again, this doesn't always necessarily mean the values are dropping. This is more an indication. So if they were on the market 3 months ago, they were on the market during the hot time, and they just had to adjust to what's happening in our market now. Quick snapshot of what it looks like on these MLSs. By the way, I see here this home on Espadrille. I just want to quick plug in. In this email, you're going to have a link to one of my own listings that I'll talk about a little bit later, and you'll see a well-priced home and a well-presented home. Anyway, take a look at that. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but that link will be in this email, so you can check out a home that I put on the market that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. So understand the data. Number 2 is staging. So again, we've left a market where you could literally put a home on the market vacant or even occupied, not staged at all. And because of the inventory, people were going to put an offer anyway, because there was no other alternative out there for a lot of folks. So staging wasn't even that important. Well, now that we've shifted away from that type of market, staging is going to be huge. And these are basics of how we should typically sell a home. But now we're kind of leaning towards that again. We went away from it. Staging is going to be very important. So when I started my real estate career, I started selling new homes. And before we opened up the models to the public, we'd have to do something called a model walk, where we walked through the models. We had to fluff all the pillows, make sure the air fresheners were on, make sure that the background music was playing, the windows were clean. We had to prep for opening the doors. So you as a seller in this market have to think of your home that way, that you're trying to present it in the best light possible. Treat it like a model home. So another example is, now I'm representing buyers and we walk into a home, and let's say it's vacant. What do buyers typically do when they walk through a home that's not presented well? They start calculating, right? So we walk into a home, it's vacant, it's empty, and it's a little musty in there because the AC is not on. So the buyers start to pay attention. Well, gosh, this home needs a fresh coat of paint. The carpet's dirty. We probably need to either clean it or get it replaced. So they start calculating and tallying all this up. Another example is if you've got an open floor plan, and as a buyer, we can't figure out how are we going to set up our couch and our TV. We don't know because it's vacant, right? So then you start to think, well, maybe I'm probably gonna have to buy a TV hutch to mount my TV on, to put it in this location, because I kind of don't know where it's supposed to go. And so by not staging your home, you're missing an opportunity to showcase your home and the way it's laid out. So again, what do buyers do when they walk through and it's not vacant? They start calculating what it's gonna cost to get the home the way that they want it. So what does that create? It creates misalignment. So you've got a seller who thinks the price is here. You've got a buyer who sees that price, starts calculating all of the things that they need to do to get the home ready, and now we have a misalignment on value. And so to alleviate that issue as a seller, make your home like a model home and get it staged. So that was number 2. Number 3 is basically just an alternative. Is if this market is slow and you're not in an urgent state to sell, one alternative is to wait. So typically this time of the market, fall to the winters, is typically a slow market. And of course, we put in the higher interest rates, the inflation, and it really slowed things down dramatically. However, the spring market is always going to be historically the best time to sell a home. So waiting till the spring, I hear that a lot too from clients. So that is an alternative, and there's a pro and con to both. So I just want to point that out to you guys so you guys can make the best decision. The pro, obviously, in the springtime, demand is up. So now you've got buyers that are actually serious, that need to move before school starts, before the summer hits. They're out. The shoppers will be out in the spring. So that's definitely a pro. The con is that a lot of sellers have been waiting too. They want to ride this out and see what happens in the spring. Well, and they'll put their home on the market then. So now you're up against more competition. So the buyer demand is up, but you're probably going to have more inventory to compete against. So you just have to figure out what's going to be best for you. But I also just wanted to point out an alternative, that if this market isn't fitting your timing, then you can always wait till the spring. So anyway, hope that helps, guys. Those are 3 tips that I share with my sellers. Hope you guys have a good weekend. This weekend I am actually today I'll be heading off to back to school festival. My kids started school. I'm sure everyone else has as well, and they're having some activities at school. So I'm excited about that. All 3 of my daughters, or my younger daughters, are all at the same school. So this is going to be exciting. And also this weekend, I'll be attending a housewarming for one of my clients that closed on their home. So I'm super excited to celebrate with them. They got a home here, in their first home in Southern California, so it's pretty awesome. Anyway, hope you guys have a good weekend. Oh, and again, check out that listing. The link is here. Let me know what you guys think. We implemented everything that I just talked about. We got it priced right. It's staged with pretty awesome furniture. It's got pottery barn, restoration hardware. There's no expenses spared in that home. Take a look. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care.